Hello, everyone, and welcome to spring and to Aries season. I'm Holly, founder of What the Stars Say. You can find us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram, as well as at whatthestarsay.com. In addition to the weekly forecast, which is focusing a lot on personal energies throughout the day, a lot of moon astrology, I wanted to create extra content to help everybody in these challenging times. That's part of it's the main reason really why I got into sharing astrology and studying it further, to look at how we can co-create with our lives and kind of navigate in challenging times. And this is definitely a challenging time that we have. But I'm here as an Aries sun. Today is my astrological birthday, and tomorrow is my official birthday. It's a weird Aries season for us all. It feels like a bit like birthdays canceled, but what is great is the gift that Aries season is bringing to us all, because if there's ever a spirit and energy that could help you navigate a difficult time, it's the Aries spirit, I believe. I might be a little bit biased, but let's go into this and let's talk a little bit more about it. So to start with, I'd like to do some housekeeping and everything like that, and I'd also like to begin by just thanking you for your time, for spending this time with me. I'm hoping to make this video shorter than the last one, we'll see. And just know that life is happening around me. There could be people walking in, a dog or a kitty come up, we'll see. I am definitely practicing social distancing out here in the country, but I'm not alone. I have a partner and a dog and a cat, so be prepared for surprises. We'll just make it work. This is like the 6th time I've tried to record this video today. It's when things get to the point where you're like, I can either laugh or cry, so I'm just going to laugh at this. It was that kind of moment. I'll get into a bit of the personal struggles and analogies as they relate to the energy right now, in hopes that you can relate and kind of just laugh this off with me as well. But I want to thank you for your time, and I appreciate you spending your time with me and to caring about what's going on with us personally, collectively. When you co-create with astrology, you have to call yourself out on your own bullshit, and you have to take a lot of self-responsibility for what's going on, because you are a creator. You're creating your reality. Your thoughts are manifesting every moment of every day. So when you know about what's going on a collective level, you can detach from a bit. And then when you know what's happening on a personal level, you can also detach from the emotions of that time and look at things more objectively. And it's so important right now that we keep an objective point of view. It's a struggle and a challenge that we're all dealing with at this time. But when you see it, you can detach a little. Oh, that's what this is. And I'll share a personal example of that. So thank you for being here. Thank you for caring and to wanting to bring the best forth at this challenging time. In addition to the weekly forecast, I'm doing this new moon video. I have a video out called How to Ride the Pandemic Wave, where I talk about these really big cosmic stories that are being played out, and how it's affecting the collective, and how it's affecting US and China specifically, our job situation, our monetary and economic situation as well. So check that out if you haven't already. I'm going to go back and touch upon some of those same things there, because that energy is still at play right now. It wasn't a boom and done kind of thing. It's going to be trickling out. It has over the last couple of months. It will continue for the last couple of years. And this is a big wave we're all riding. So I can't really talk about the new moon without going to that aspect as well. The last thing is that I'm working on a 30 special. It's 30 minutes for $30 for 30 days. This is looking at your personal natal chart and picking up on what your inherent strengths are and how that can help you navigate these challenging times. I will accept questions about certain focus areas. If there's an area you really want me to examine, I'll be happy to do that. Like everyone else, I'm adjusting to, working remotely, shifting life over, having this big halt to just day-to-day routines and mobility. Like, we're all in it. So I thought I would have this launched by International Astrology Day, but I didn't. And I'm just having to laugh that off, like some other things that are happening right now. We're all adjusting. Let's keep our sense of humor. Things aren't going to work out quite as expected for a little bit, because this is a time of readjustment, as we'll go into. So I want to talk about this readjusting that we have over the next couple weeks and kind of the collective energy, and then get into this new moon. I think that the best way to do this is with the whiteboard. I like to have the visual aid. And I had a different whiteboard and I had tons of notes. Maybe I was meant to go 6 rounds here because what I really want to say is what the stars are saying is right up in the sky right now. So the best way to do it is to just give you a slice of the current skies that we have. So I'm going to adjust a little bit here so we can focus on the old whiteboard. Bring this down so you can see. Okay. I have some dates at the bottom. I will get to that. People have been asking for specific dates, and I totally understand that. But please understand that a lot of this is being experienced differently on a collective level and on a personal level. But Daniel, aloha, I see you. I have specific dates for you here at the bottom, just for you, since you want the specific dates. But keep an eye on the weekly forecast too, because I will go into that. Next week we have some serious choppy waters, so trust that I will break it down day by day as well too. So what we have right now, I just have a slice of the zodiac sky here. This part's missing because nothing's really going on down here right now, so that's why. So let's begin with what we have going on up here in Pisces. So Pisces is the final sign of the zodiac. This is really important because we are going, there's the shift. We've shifted from Pisces season to Aries season. So we went from the end of the zodiac to the beginning. You can't go back. We can't go back to Pisces season. We can't go back to a month ago. We have to be in the reality that we're in right now. But this is a challenge for us because we have Mercury, the planet, the messenger, thought, communication, thought processes, and Neptune, that wild destroyer, hanging out in Pisces, which is already like the daydream, dark, twisted fantasy kind of side that's not really in reality, not really grounded in reality. So to give you an analogy here about what this energy is and how it translates into our life, I woke up yesterday morning and I told my husband, I'm going to do this, this, and this today. And he just kind of gave me a look like, okay. And as, the morning turned to mid-morning, and as the mid-morning turned to afternoon, I realized that all the things I said I was going to accomplish on that Monday were not based in reality at all. I was planning my Monday as if it was Monday a month ago, and the world was like it is. It's not. It's changed. And it's so easy and tempting right now to think that reality is something different and to fall into deception and illusion and to daydream and fantasy of what you want your reality to be like instead of what your reality is really like. So yesterday I definitely had a dark night of the soul as I came to grips with just the true fact that I can't be deceived by how I want the world to be. I have to deal with the world as it is now. And it's so easy for us to fall into that deceptive zone. But Pisces is also the final sign, so it represents the death and the death of something. And at this time, we're being really reminded a lot of impermanence and how all things must come to pass. And it serves us better to be in the reality of that rather than to be stuck in the past and how we wish it would and just to cling on to death and something that is no longer there for us. We're leaving this energy right now, and it's hard and it's so tempting, to get pulled back and to fall into escapism, addiction, the whole disillusion of it all, the whole fantasy world, and then when you get that reality check like I did yesterday, it's very sobering and it's depressing. So there is some dark night of the soul aspect that happened when I woke up this morning and we had the new moon and the sun in Aries. I felt the energy of that new moon, the new coming in, and the hope of possibility and change and everything like that. But please be aware that what we are collectively dealing with at this time is this grief. I mean, Pisces is the death here. It's the final part of the zodiac and everything. We are grieving over the change in our reality right now. We are grieving in anticipation of what's to come and the changes to come. So don't be deceived, but also don't repress it. If you repress it, it's going to internalize, and that's not good for your health. If you repress it, your suffering is going to spill out to others, and you're going to hurt the ones you love the most. So if you need to have that moment of fantasy where you dream of a better world, that's great, but put it into reality and plant the seeds here, because it's a new dawn. It's a new day, really. If you have to go and cry, in the shower, or hide out, or just take a walk and lose it, or feel angry or frustrated and everything, get it out. Go through those waves of grief as we go from one ending to a new beginning. I very much encourage that this time. And just be aware of the fact that this Mercury and Neptune, when we look at this collective astrology and everything like that, this is the energy that's bringing the pandemic. This is the energy that's bringing water to the lungs. And this is really dangerous. So right now, it's so easy we don't fall prey to this energy, because we can't think, oh, it's my birthday, I'll get together with friends. Nope. Social distance, oh, what will it hurt if I just go out a little bit? Nope. Shelter in place. It's a different reality. And it hurts to be reminded of that sometime. But don't be deceived, because now and through like April 7th, this energy is coming in. If you look at the medical astrology, and not just the medical astrology, but if you look at what the health professionals are saying, especially the ones in other countries that have already dealt with this, and when they talk about what's awaits us here in the United States, this is a critical time. This is not a time to be deceived. It's a time to be calm, to be objective, to be mindful of your personal health and the health of others. Don't fall into this thinking of disillusion and a lack of being in touch with reality, because it's happening. So I'm gonna work my way kind of backwards here. I have Mercury in Pisces natal, so I'm a circular speaker. So I'm gonna talk in a circle here backwards. There you go. That's Mercury and Uranus, really Pisces kind of thing happening there. So over here in the 9th house, we have Saturn. And Saturn is moving from Capricorn to Aquarius. This is huge. This started on March 22nd. It's a very uncomfortable, tense, restrictive feeling that we're experiencing. It's a little weird. And what we have is Saturn, who is highly influential in our lives, chilling out at 0 degrees in Aquarius. And if you all will remember from the January, February, and March StarCast sessions, and just from the blog and the pandemic wave video, I described what's happening in the Capricorn constellation right now as the least fun party ever. And what's happened in this party is that Saturn has been kicked out. So imagine, I describe this as like that holiday dinner party where nobody really gets along, nobody really agrees, they don't really want to discuss anything. There's a lot of passive-aggressive action, hidden motives, awkward silences, and no booze. It's the least fun party ever. So Saturn just got kicked out of the party, and we're at that point of like awkward silence. Saturn's left the party, but everybody else is still there. This is a real tense, like weird, awkward moment that we're having. And this is, this kicked off March 22nd, and it goes until March 31st. So know at this time that it's a weird transitionary period from us. If you look at what's going on with Capricorn, I describe Capricorn here as I work, and Aquarius is I know. So as Saturn's being kicked out of the party, we're going from this, my self-identity is related to my work, my status, my reputation, to, my self-identity and what I'm dealing with is related to how innovative I am, how intuitive I am, how smart I am, how calm, objective, and skillfully I can navigate this territory, okay? So it's a little different here. Saturn's Aquarius is traditionally ruled by Saturn. Capricorn, in the modern version, is ruled. So we're switching back here. This is a major shift. It's real tense energy. Saturn is, it feels restrictive. So just know that till the 31st, that's happening right there. That someone's quite disruptive who's been kicked out of the party. And Saturn was like pretty much at home in Capricorn. So it's real weird. We still have Mars, our planet of action, aggression, Jupiter, and then we've got Pluto going on in Capricorn. And this is what I've described as the shit show. So we have these Mars conjunction, this Pluto, and this Jupiter conjunction. And there's a lot of things that on a collective level are going to be firing off for the next couple weeks. And this is really big on the collective level. There'll be a lot of wows. If If you go back and watch How to Ride the Pandemic Wave, I described it as in these next couple weeks, we're going to be in choppy waters. I'm on the geopolitical front. There'll be more information that'll be revealed. There's a good chance we'll find out who the big bad wolf really is. You know, we've had this time with, we came out of this Mercury retrograde in Pisces, and that was a time of deception, disillusion, misinformation, miscommunication. And I think as this is changing, the information is finally going to come to light. We will feel more informed for better or worse. And there will be a lot of choppy waters. And these are the dates that I've talked about when it comes to this. Like if you want to keep an eye on, you know, the news and the scene and stuff and see what happens. I pointed out March 26th, March 31st, April 4th. These are dates that I'm personally keeping an eye on. I think it's going to be a lot of hotbed of activity. And until April 7th, we really need to just lay low. Like, hide your wife, hide your kids, because there's going to be some things that are playing out, and we can't pretend like it's business as usual. It's truly not business as usual at this time. So as we have the Saturn shifting from Capricorn to Aquarius, we also have our north and south nodes. And so I want to get down to these dates and what this means really quickly. So right here we have the constellation of Cancer, and then we have a node there, and then we have Capricorn. So over here at the least fun party ever, right, we've got another node. So the south node represents where we've been, and that's been in Capricorn. And we've been at work. Capricorn, I work, okay? The north node where we're going is now, it has been in Cancer, and this is about where we've been. And Cancer represents home and nurturing. So we have literally, figuratively, collectively, all went from work to home. Okay? So that's important because that's bouncing off there. So all this action disruption is kicking us out of work. Well, I think we can relate to that. That's what we all went through. So if you want to see the bright side of things, where we're going towards home, then we have the Aquarius innovation. This is giving us innovation, just really creative ideas and ways to shift our resources, way to change our work and make our work more at home. So we have a wonderful energy at this time for it, but this is what we're dealing with. And what's been interesting about what's going on in Cancer and Capricorn is that this is also playing out in our eclipses. This has been playing out in our eclipses since last year. So we will have one in Capricorn, and then we'll have one in Cancer, and they've been bouncing off each other. And when eclipses happen, that reverberates out, and we have that energy, and it just changes things. It marks endings and beginnings. So, you know, the solar one can mark a beginning, the lunar one could do another. So we have all these endings and beginnings with work and home really happening, and that's continuing to play out there as well. As you can tell, it's bouncing off, and all this action, this geopolitical action, this karmic reckoning that's happening on the external collective level is affecting us, and that's where we're at. But let's get to the good news. So here the other thing that's so super interesting about this, okay? So the second house is the money house. So money went home, right? There we are. There's the Cancer, the north. Where are we headed? The money is going home. So the money is going over here from 8th, which is other people's thing, to home. So 8 is other people's resources. This is taxes. This would be the government stimulus. Oh, guess what? It's over here in the rough part. That's how that's happening. But over here is the home. And so the money shifts to the home front. Okay? That, we're living that. I don't have to convince you of that. You are living that right now. But just so you know, when people say, what the hell's going on? Let's look at the sky. Here's what the hell's going on in the sky and with astrology. So then we get to the 12th house, and the 12th house is hidden, but it's also what's on the horizon. And over here is Taurus. And then we have Venus at home, as I talked about in the other video. This is wonderful energy we have at this time. Venus, the planet of love, creativity, and beauty, is home. But she's also there with Uranus. So when Venus got home, there was quite this unexpected gift. We were all given the gift of home, but it's unexpected because everybody's there and we can't leave. So that's how that's playing out. But Uranus and Taurus is a long cycle that we're dealing with right now. It has to do with some land changes, but also changes in our food production. Look at material resources, and how this is playing out really is like what's hidden right now is we're all kind of hidden away at home, but we're also trying to figure out where things are at as far as our material resources go and our food production and our food resources. So that's all playing out there. let's save the good news for last. Here in the 11th house, we have Aries season. And this is why we have such good news. Oh, okay, hang on, I forgot about something. I'll get to that. I'll get to some key date things at the end. I'll circle it back like I do. So Aries season, we have the sun and the moon in Aries, along with Chiron. The lower expression of Aries is selfish love. It's me first, gimme, gimme, baby, baby mentality. It's very instant gratification, ego driven. The highest expression of Aries would be self-love. And that would be self-love in the sense that you put your oxygen mask on first, right? Before you help others. It would be that. And it's really a wonderful time for a lot of people, especially caregivers, especially people in the medical profession that are just giving so much right now and putting themselves at risk. And also to the parents that are really struggling to stay strong and put on, this brave front for their children and stuff, and take care of everybody else. Don't neglect yourself. Put on your oxygen mask first, okay? Use this to cry in the shower if you need to, or to take a relaxing bubble bath, because suddenly you have time to take a relaxing bubble bath. You know what I mean? There's many ways that it could play out, and it could also be going, I have enough, but what about people in my community that are struggling? And to think about others, because the highest expression of Aries is that warrior that just charges in to the battle and it's like, let's take this on, We've had that dark night of the soul of Pisces. We got to watch into following into that deception energy, but Aries is the best at falling down and picking themselves back up, being the baby that skins their knee and then laughs a few minutes later, okay? So when we have the sun, that's our outward expression. That's also light. It's illumination. And this sun is going to shine a light on some darkness, and some corruption will continue to be exposed. More, information will come out. And then with the moon, it's like when your sun and your moon are more like together in harmony like that and placed together, there's not as much friction between your head and your heart, the inside and the outside. So that's good news for us all there. Again, this is general. I'm not looking at how your natal chart relates to all this. With Chiron and Aries, this is the first time in our lifetime that any of us have experienced Chiron and Aries. And Chiron is the wounded healer. And so what that's about is it's about our health journey becoming more personalized. When Chiron was in Pisces, we had the victims found their voice when Chiron was in Pisces. That was the time of the Me Too movement. That was the Time's Up. The victims found their voice, and that was very important. But Chiron is asking us to go from victim to survivor. Aries is the epitome of the survivor mode. And it's about no one's going to make a victim out of me, right? So we've went to this time where we've used our voice and we've said, what we were dealing with on that and how we feel victimized. But now we have to go from victim to survivor, okay? So that translates in a lot of ways. That translates in when it comes to human rights, when it comes to equality, when it comes about the ways you should actually treat a human being, okay? That's really important. But now, if we look at this in a different sense, we all took a hit. Life is not like it was a month ago, nor will it be. So now we have to figure out how to be survivors in that and not to allow ourselves to be victimized by external situations that we're dealing with. So that's the best energy. Chiron and Aries also suggest individualized health, personal healing journeys. So as we go on through our own emotional, psychological, physical, mental healing at this time, it becomes highly personalized, which is great because we all have to be more responsible right now for our personal health. And we have to realize how our personal health and mental, emotional health affects people around us. We're in more closer proximities with our family. We're doing social distancing to help keep others safe and to protect the more vulnerables in our communities. So this is wonderful energy for all of that. What a new moon represents, every new moon represents a new beginning. And the Aries new moon and how it falls on the new astrological year, which is now, which is our spring equinox, is especially beautiful because a new moon is about a new beginning and it's about planting new seeds. And so one thing I really want to get across to you all is when we skip ahead and we think 2 months and 2 years, That's the anticipatory. That is, it's so hard not to raise a head and think about what's going to happen. But that is anticipatory stress and grief, and it's really hard to process. And all that is to be determined. So what I want to suggest for this new moon is that you use this day, you use this time to set your intentions of the seeds you want to plant right now, and know that what comes up is to be determined. So plant your seeds for the next lunar cycle. Each new moon, we start a new lunar cycle that's 29 and a half days. So don't think 2 months, don't think 2 years, just think these next 29 and a half days, just this lunar cycle. And you might not know what's going to happen with jobs, and you might not know what's going to happen to money, but you have to let go a little bit and move forward. So what I would suggest is you set intentions, and you don't know the specifics, but that's okay. You don't have to for new moon intentions. You say it like it's already existed. I am in abundance of food and resources. I am in a job where I am paid for my contribution well and valued. You know, there's things that you can do like that. So don't skip ahead so far, because Aries are very future oriented. They're not in the past, you know. They're very now forward. So just look now forward into that lunar day cycle and use this energy as it comes in. The last thing I want to say about this is when it comes to, I'm just checking about this. When it comes to the Aries energy and what we have available to us right now, there's a couple things I thought of, because I am an Aries myself, and there's just so many fun analogies I could do. But like I said, I'm trying to keep this to be a shorter video and to be more concise for you all. So I'm just going to go with one. And I think it's really just, for me, it's one of the epitomes. And like I was saying with my special, I want to do it for International Astrology Day. And I know that people need insight more than ever. So I've been sharing other astrologers and giving them shout outs. And like, did you guys see that Leo King video? He can talk for like over 3 hours. It's kind of amazing. It's kind of amazing. He's esoteric astrologer. It's really great. But I'm like, dude, I don't have 3 hours. And I don't really, I'm trying to keep this, like the last one was 45. I'm trying to keep this one under 15. But it's so wonderful to get other perspectives, because we all have, in astrology, we all have individual interpretation in different areas. At this time, I find medical astrology to be really interesting, horary, esoteric. So I'm going out and getting everybody's opinions, because everyone's bringing their own specialty and focus area and what they're intuitively zooming in on. So it's great to get many insights at this time from astrologers. When I was a teenager and I was first learning astrology, I would say my first astrology teacher was Linda Goodman, like many people. She had the Sun Sign book. She was an Aries, it's so funny, my first teacher was an Aries too. But I love what she wrote about Aries, and she explained some, you know, kind of like typical Aries archetypes, and I want to go into that. And Linda Goodman's Sun Sign book is just a book I think everybody should have. It's a great read and everything. So in that book, there's different editions because it's such a classic. But she does the archetype of Scarlett O'Hara for Gone with the Wind with the as the Aries. And I don't think I'd ever seen Gone with the Wind, but how Linda Goodman subscribed it, I just really wanted to know more about the Scarlett O'Hara character. So I watched Gone with the Wind, and oh man, wow. So I'm Aries Sun, but I have a lot of Taurus in my chart, and I'm predominantly Earth, okay, energy. And a lot of times people will be like, oh, I didn't know you're an Aries. You don't seem like an Aries. And they say that like it's a compliment. Like, oh, good, you're not like an Aries. Because they're, like I said, low expression and high expression. And I'm pretty unbiased about it. I'm not that attached with my Aries part. I actually have the Aries ram on my back as a tattoo, because when I got into my Saturn return, I thought, maybe I'll quit butting heads, that Aries ram energy. Maybe it'll go behind me. Sure enough, it did. I'm not so quick tempered now. I'm more Taurus-like. Like it takes me a longer time to get angry. So in Gone with the Wind, in the beginning, Scarlett is like those lower Aries qualities. She's very me. She's very shallow. She's selfish. She's a bit manipulative, egotistical. I mean, she's all the Aries lower expression in one and everything. But what happens to Scarlett is that she experiences this big change in reality, And you could say that she's selfish and everything like that, but she has loved ones she's thinking about. She's thinking about her land, her family legacy. She's thinking, you know, about what's going on with the soldiers in the field of the war. So you could say she's selfish, but she ends up like really getting a huge reality check. And the external world changes around her, and it's not about, you know, boys anymore and being the belle of the ball and boys. I mean, she gets this huge reality check. And there's so much to be said for the fact that it's not, you know, if or when we fall, but it's about how we get back up. And how she got back up, she does become really, I think, a true Aries heroine and a wonderful role model for us at this time in that moment. Because if you'll remember the scene, I mean, worse has come to worse. She's a mess. She's dirty. Her dress is a mess. She's hungry, and everything is so bleak. And she's in that field. God is my witness. God is my witness. I shall never go hungry again. Okay? That famous saying. Girl went from boys to business. You know? She accepted the reality of that moment. She saw the people that are suffering and said, I'm not available for that reality. And she put things into motion so she would never have those same vulnerabilities again. You know, so she would never go hungry again. That's the epitome of Aries season. It's to say, as God is my witness, I shall not go hungry again. And to plant those seeds to make sure food comes up, okay? Do you see what I'm saying? So she's the epitome of the Aries season and the energy that we have available to us. And with Chiron visiting there, being that wounded healer, it's a wonderful time to flip the script, you know, and make things happen. My husband's going to come in right now. Come in! Get on video. He knows how many times I've tried to do this. Come here. I got you. I got you.
I'll get to join.
You can join in. I'm going to make it work. And the dog's out too. Hello.
Hi.
I'm going to use this.
Okay.
Do you want to show him my birthday present? Since it got cut out of the other tray.
I'll let you show it.
It's on the chair.
Oh.
So the other thing about the Aries energy is we never grow up. We're the babies of the zodiac. And because it's technically my astrological birthday, I convinced Phil to give me an early birthday present. And it's what I call an essential cut for our vinyl collection. Never grow up, man. I'm going to rock out to this on my birthday. It's a great gift. So that is Aries season. Welcome to Aries season and welcome to spring equinox. Keep an eye out for the 30 special that I have and go back and watch How to Ride the Pandemic Wave video for more insight on what's happening, and keep an eye out for the weekly forecast for your personal guidance. Thanks.